couple of opinions.
Yes.
ACOO.
Yeah, the acronym is ACOO. If you watch Samurai Jack, it sounds the same, but it's not.
ACOO.
It's not spelled the same. I'm Ebony. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. You can follow me on Instagram at TheBusyBee, spelled TheBizibi. You can also follow my rant dump page, Raging Black Girl, all one word, spelled as you would find those words in the dictionary, RAGINGBLACKGIRL. You could follow me on Twitch, TheBusyBee, spelled the same as my Instagram. I also have a YouTube page, same name, BusyBee. Who are you?
I'm Ron. You can follow me on Instagram, Phywrld, PHIWRLD, one word, of course, because I didn't say no spaces or nothing. And yeah, it's pretty much all my socials. I got other socials, but they're all work in progress. But if you want to follow me, definitely reach out to me on Instagram. That's definitely the best place for you to reach me. And my pronouns are he, him, they, them.
Okay, yes, and this is a couple of opinions. If you don't know, we are a couple with opinions, and this podcast is just us sharing our thoughts and opinions and theories and experiences with some stuff. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump into our list of topics.
All right, so the first segment that we wanted to jump into was something that Ed brought my attention, which was the Maxim list. I wasn't really aware of it at all. She brought my attention to the fact that Tiana Taylor is the first black woman to win, Maxim's sexiest woman, whatever that entails, that whatever comes with that award.
I don't even know if it's an award. It's just like a magazine thing.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, she just was acknowledged and chosen as like Maxim's ideal sexy woman.
Yeah. So she's the first black woman ever, and I did my little research on the Googles and Wikipedias, and I thought that this has been a thing for like ever, like the 80s or at least the 90s or something. This list, it's their top 100 from what I understand, and they just, I guess, rank everybody by hottest or sexiest, whatever they deem as such. And it started in 2000. So in the 21 years that this ranking has existed, Tiana Taylor is the first black woman. And it's a shame because black women are sexy, and there's lots of sexy black women that exist that should have been in the top spot. Probably. I mean, it's all really weird to be ranking people on attractiveness or hot testness or sexiness or whatever. And I mean, it's a shame when anything is the first of just one marginalized identity. Like if they were like the first black woman astronaut who also has like $1 billion knitting company, I feel like that's cool. Like, yeah, okay, sure. That makes sense that that's the first. It doesn't make sense that Tiana Taylor is the first black woman to be sexiest woman alive. And not because it's Tiana Taylor. It just doesn't make sense that 2021 is the year that they had their first black woman in this spot. So I just wanted, I like my purpose. I brought this to Ron during like a meeting that we were talking about the podcast, planning for our next episode. And I was like, we came to an agreement. Well, I don't know if I can say agreement, but I made it clear that I just wanted to use this time to name sexy black women and just like go through a list, because it's really freaking crazy. Like Janet Jackson's right there. Janet Jackson's been right there for decades. And it's just ridiculous. So, I mean, I don't know if you wanted to say anything else before we just start talking about sexy black women, but
yeah, I mean, basically just the conclusion that we came to during the conversation, which was that Maxim is a magazine that their readers are predominantly white males from this certain age group, and the fact that the publication has only been running since what did you just you were like,
I know the list has been running since 2000. I don't even know, because I think I don't know. Maxim, I guess they do women, because I know that People magazine also has a similar list.
Yeah, they have like
because John Legend was on the cover one time, which I don't agree with.
Who
but
recently won, I want to say, what's his name? What's the kid that he's from, like, New Jersey?
Michael B. Jordan?
Yeah.
I don't know what year that was, but...
I think he just won it, though, didn't he?
This year or last year?
I think he won it just this year.
I don't know, but...
I'm not sure. I'm
yeah.
not sure if we just...
But I don't know. But there's a lot of magazines that like to rank people on attractiveness, which is pretty strange. But we're going to just we're not ranking people. We're going to list.
This is a cool's list.
Yeah, of sexy black women that came to our mind in this very moment that we're sitting here.
Yeah. And
this is not a ranking list. This is not to say any black woman that we don't name isn't sexy. It's just an excuse to talk about sexy black women, quite honestly, that are like celebrities.
Which I don't even think that's something that we even need. Like, we could just open the show and just be like, Pam Grier,
Janet Jackson. Just naming people,
just start naming names, and then people would probably pick up on the fact that, oh, these are just fine ass black women.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I mean, those two names are Pam Grier. I don't know how old I was when I first seen Pam Grier, but immediately in my mind I was like, that's a fine ass woman. I don't know what age. I was pretty young. I was probably had to been like maybe no older than 13 or 14 or something like that, and I'm just like, that's a fine ass woman. Like, regardless of, because styles change, ideas of beauty change, but I feel like more than any other race, I feel like black women can transcend like time and like trend. You just look and just say, oh, that's a fine woman, that's a sexy ass woman right there. Like, regardless of, it could be a picture from, I can't say that about everybody though. You look at some people during like maybe the 40s, the 30s, the 20s and be like, she looks crazy.
Yeah.
But a black woman in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, all the way down the line, that sex appeal, I feel like resonates. Like Josephine Baker, we can look at Josephine Baker and be like, she's sexy. Like, that's a fine ass woman. She, like, you're there for it. You're with it. But we can't say that about every pinup from like the 40s or the 30s, you know what I'm saying? It just wasn't really there. And I think that's what makes the exclusion such an affront, because it's like, you're not even trying, like,
at all.
What are these standards that you're even like? Because it's just so silly. It's so silly.
Yeah.
Like, of all people that what would be the word, like, fetishizes like black features and shit like that.
Yeah, right. Especially now.
Throughout American history, you mean to tell me like, oh, this is it? Like, at least this is just what they're willing to acknowledge, like, publicly, like, to put on. But
yeah, and I have not, and I'm not going to look at any list from the past. Like, I don't even know who was on the list this year.
No,
I just,
I wouldn't even because it's just it's nonsense. It's like, I wouldn't even.
It doesn't even need to be a thing.
Maxim as a publication, I don't like. Who's like,
I mean, Maxim to me is the white version of King magazine.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I was about to say. It's just, it's not even like, it's not like a GQ or some shit like that. Like, nah, it's not that. But yeah, anyway, so I know you mentioned Eartha Kitt, like, and that's another example.
Yeah.
Older, like, you can see her in some pictures. I know she's got some spicy stuff out there. I know she does, because I've seen some of this like outfits and shit. Still sexy.
Yeah, because I was thinking like, they ain't even choose Halle Berry in the time frame.
Niggas love Halle Berry. They love.
Yeah, Halle Berry's like white people's favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But
throughout time.
Yeah. And I said Halle Berry, and I was thinking, who was the other Catwoman? Eartha Kitt. Mm-hmm. I mean, Nia Long.
Nia Long is sexy. Even one of the bros dropped. What's her name in the group chat? I can't think of her name.
What was she in?
From Blackish.
Oh, Tracee Ellis Ross.
Tracee Ellis Ross.
Yeah.
Her and her mama, fine.
Diana. Yeah.
And I'm just trying to cast a wide net. I'm going through all time.
Same. Me too. Time. Yeah, that's what. And I remember I brought up you were talking about, you don't remember the first time you saw Pam Grier. Funnily enough, the first time I can remember seeing Pam Grier was the L Word.
Oh wow.
She's in the L Word.
That
is
kind of funny.
Right?
I didn't know.
I don't think she's a lesbian on the show. Mm-hmm. I've never watched the entire show. Mm-hmm. Little discovery me was just watching the show because I was like, ooh, ladies on ladies. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't think she was. I don't remember if she was. Her sister was though, or her sister in the show, not her. I don't know about her real sister, but that was the first time I seen her. But I was sitting here also thinking, like, sexy black women, we're talking about feminine, or what we can agree to be generally feminine, or what society would deem as feminine. And although I don't find this woman sexy, like, would Lena Waithe ever be on this list as a sexy black woman? I don't see it for her. But, you know, I'm like...
I feel like you can. We talked about this during our conversation about, like, how, for me personally, like, sexiness is kind of like a larger range, like, for me. I don't know. But I'm a guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think she can.
Yeah, because sexy is also subjective.
It is. Because someone could see, like, a teacher in a perfectly professional, like, pantsuit and be like, that's sexy. Just because that person might have that.
It's about the energy. It's not even about the fit or...
Somebody could just do that for them. Or, I don't know. Like, it is very subjective. And it is. And I think we can stumble over that, but...
Sanaa Lathan.
Yeah, Sanaa.
Sorry, it was just in my head.
That's Sanaa Lathan.
I don't know. Nicki Minaj was also sitting right there.
Obviously.
Although I don't find her sexy, I find her to be sexual. And we were talking about this a little bit too, like, what is the difference between attractive and, like, beautiful? Because I know a lot of people will probably put Beyonce as sexy. I don't, again, subjective. I don't necessarily see her as sexy. I see her more like classy, glamorous a bit.
Like or like a cousin or something. Like,
she's definitely, I've definitely seen cousin with Beyonce. But I know that, but again, Beyonce's also right there. Biggest superstar since 2000s, the early 2000s was definitely like her debut. She's sitting right there. You know, she was on I'll never forget, she was on Sports Illustrated. I think it was a Giants jersey or something, and like some blue Spanx or whatever. I remember that. And it's like, Beyonce can be sexy, absolutely. I don't think the word sexy is like one of the top 5 words that I think about Beyonce. She's definitely very poised and classy. Refined, and I don't know. I think she can be sexy. Whatever. I feel like I'm explaining myself because I know the Beehive is nuts, but...
No, I think you're not alone in this, because I said that I feel the same exact way.
Like, she's beautiful.
Yeah, but from other guys that I know of, they've said that the same thing themselves. They kind of see them as like a distant relative or like a nice lady. Like, I don't see
nice lady. Rihanna.
Rihanna, of course, could top any list. Like, to snub Rihanna is...
I also have heard though, and from a lot of gay guys, that like Rihanna's not cute. They're like, she's not cute. That girl looks weird.
I can see what it is.
I can see that. So I was like, I can see it too, but...
Without, like, the spritzing up, like, just, like...
Yeah.
Robin. Like, you could be like, yeah, she's kind of strange looking, but...
Yeah, but, I mean, it's also sex appeal. Because,
That's more of an energy thing.
Yeah. And I think that's why I don't see it for Beyonce as being sexy, because it's like, it doesn't come off as that. She's always... Because she's a pageant girl.
Yeah, I was about
very
to say
poised
showy.
and, you know...
She's not, like, wielding her sexuality. She's not, like...
Yeah.
You are projecting or using it, like...
Yeah.
Like that. We could go pretty much for days.
We can.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. We can just keep on naming them. I think you mentioned... This is a good example of where we can play around with, like, the idea of, like, sexuality and whatnot. Somebody like Whitney Houston...
Yeah.
Would you say, like, would you think that she's...
No.
Nah, yeah.
No, I mean, Whitney's another person. Like, that's family. Yeah. Like, that's a family member kind of person. And I mean, Whitney's beautiful and also talented. I feel like when I think Whitney, I just think talent. Talent and heartbreak, quite honestly. And you say Whitney, and I don't know why I went to Left Eye, but all the ladies of TLC.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of like beauty to me does not equate sexy, does not equate attractiveness. All the ladies of TLC. What?
We need
the ladies.
We need we could use like a pie chart, not a pie chart. What are those ones where the circles overlap each other?
Venn diagrams.
Yeah, you could use a Venn diagram.
Yeah, for sure.
For like
sexy, beautiful, attractive, and we'd be able to. Who falls in those areas? Yeah, for sure. Maybe we could do that. I don't know if I want to do that or if I feel like doing it. Y'all don't know if I feel like doing it.
Let's get somebody else to do
I don't know. Can we count Mariah Carey? There's always a debate about her racial,
I think,
like, makeup.
well, I don't know. To me, if we just going by like what I personally think, my idea of like if somebody being black is a lot different than one is like I go by the old like Jim Crow thing. And I
Like,
think,
a one drop rule?
yeah, I do like if you niggas got a little
So
bit
Logic
of,
Black.
but then
You know what? But
I
Logic
was
also
gonna-
just talks about I'm biracial.
I
I'm
was
throwing
gonna
that out there. I'm being an asshole.
No, yeah, no, that's fine. I was gonna add another thing to go with that, and it also kind of has to do with like temperament and like how you were raised,
Yeah.
and your mind space. But like gene wise, if my kid, you could have like 1/8, and I'd be like, bro, you're black. Like I would raise my child to understand and have the temperament and have the mindset and all of that to go along with it. I would raise my kid accordingly to that. I wouldn't raise them to think anything. And I think that that's where the problem lies a lot for biracial kids is identity. Mm-hmm. They never really feel like a part of anything. If they had a parent that told them outright, like, you're black, and they made everyone around them observe and like play a part in that.
I don't know. I think it's just so complicated because it's not a mix. I mean, yeah, people say, oh, I'm mixed, but it's like, it's not a mix. But is it a mix? Because it's like, I mean, thinking about people like Logic versus a Mariah Carey versus Janae Aiko. You know what I'm saying? It's like, because race is not only just like blood and like your genetic makeup, it's also like how you're read.
Culturally,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly.
Culturally, but also like what you read. Like if anybody looks at me, clearly I am black.
And that's
people try to say, oh, are you mixed with something else because I have some different looking, what they think are different looking, because I have small eyes. But like, I'm clearly black. There are people who's like, you are evident. Ari Lennox, another sexy black woman. You are clearly black. Mm-hmm. You know, Erykah Badu, clearly black. But like Mariah Carey, I don't know. She's down, and I don't even know what her parents look like or anything. And that's another thing. People are like, we gotta see what your parents look like, because then, but if it becomes a one drop rule, somebody like Halsey, I'm not saying that girl's black.
That's why I'm saying it has to do. It's gotta be like
Cameron Diaz. I'm not like, yeah, that's a Latin girl. You know what I'm saying?
There's a word for it. I think they just have to understand the groupthink, and I think that that's the most important thing. I think they have to understand that the way you look is gonna read a certain way to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are gonna expect for you to like, I don't know, like prove it and everything. Like you, like that child has to understand from jump. They have to be raised a certain kind of way to understand that there isn't that conflict. And I think that's where the issue lies with a lot of biracial kids, that they're constantly like complaining and feeling like they're not this, feeling like they're not that.
Yeah, because there is no anchor.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, they should have been raised in a way where it was like, you're black, bro.
But
like,
people who, I think the issue too is like, what is white culture? There isn't really, especially in the United States, like there isn't a white culture. There's Irish,
right.
You know, there's British culture and everything. But like, if it's somebody like Kamala Harris, who's Indian and black, you know, those are two very cultural backgrounds. I don't know how in touch she is with them. I'm just using her as an example. That's what's popped in my head. But like, I feel like that's where you can be able to have pride and a connection to both of those, like
because they're defined things, like something
right.
that you get exactly.
We're also
your finger
people talking us. We're monoracial. We're not biracial or any.
But I mean,
but it's like
we've lived enough to the point where we've seen and been in households and had dynamics with people who are biracial and biracial families. So I think, I mean, we can't, and being a part of one half of the mentality that we're even talking about, I think we do have a perspective. I think that's
absolutely. Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm just putting out as a disclaimer, like we are two monoracial people, and so what we're saying is based solely on observation and relationships we've had with other people who may be biracial or multiracial or something of that nature, or multicultural or bicultural, because I mean, it's Pride Month and people like to take jabs at the community all the time. And there are people who are like, oh, I'm transracial, I'm now black, or I'm now Asian or something like that. And transracial it is a thing, but it doesn't exist in the way that people talk about it in that way. It exists, from what I understand, it's like, say if we adopted a white baby, that white baby would be transracially black because they were raised in a black family, in black culture, in a black household, and all that kind of stuff.
And that's exactly what I mean. That you have to raise that kid you with a certain amount of
right. But that child I would never say my child is black if we adopted a white child. I would never say that. I'm like, I have a white child who lives in a black family.
Yeah, but
and is immersed in black culture.
Yeah,
and they would also understand that I am white, but I also have a very different experience because I've been raised in a black family and around black culture and whatever. So, but yeah, you're not gonna. My white I mean, we're not having white children. I'm not adopting white children. Like, that's that was just an example.
And I'm not having biracial kids. But I know that if I had a kid that had something, I'm raising him to be black. And there's to me, I don't think there's really even any kind of debate in that. I think that that's what the mistake is that people are like, oh, well, he's half this and he's like, bro, raise that child like he's your child. Treat that child like he's black. Help that kid to understand that, like, genetically there's some things that people can trip over, but the better that you understand who you are and what part you can play in all of this, the better that you'll feel later down the line. That you won't feel like, oh, I'm so lost.
And are you talking about
nobody acknowledges me? And
if you had a child who was half black, half white?
Anything.
So if you had a child who was half black, half Vietnamese, you're just like, you're black.
You're black. I mean, yeah, you have Vietnamese, but you're black.
I'm assuming you're relying on the other parent who is Vietnamese
to teach them that Vietnamese stuff. Yeah.
I think it's fair. I think just where the issue lies is like, where is my community? Because biracial people, I feel like biracial people are multiracial people, because I don't know if those experiences are the same either. But I think that they can rely on each other and connect with each other on the basis that, we are multi or at least two different races. But it's like, someone who is half black and half white and someone who's Vietnamese and Indian, like, they can only connect on being of multiple races and not on anything else. So I can just understand that it can feel probably isolating being a biracial or multiracial person, because it's like, I don't even know where I 100% sit. But again, also looking at, we have more than one identity too, and people like being a black queer woman, like I always default to black women, quite honestly, as like where my mind goes about things. When people are talking about anything, like I always think about how black women experience it or black femmes experience it. But we all have other parts of our identity, and it's like looking at being a black 20-something queer woman with college degrees. It's like, I can surely relate to people with college degrees, but I can't relate to them about my blackness or my queerness or my womanness. So I feel like if looking at intersectionality, because I don't see enough of, well, in my experience, doing diversity work and stuff, we don't talk enough or at all about biracial or multiracial people. And it's just like they're trying to search for where their people are, where their group is racially. But I think what would help the discourse and the research is if we look at how people navigate life intersectionally or with an intersectionality lens. I feel like that could help. We've gotten very far from the point, but
no, that's fine.
Thanks, Mariah Carey.
I think that's a case-to-case thing, though. Like, you have to, for an example, even though this isn't really like disproving or proving what you're saying, a Chinese person who lives in like this particular province or part of China, they culturally, they're immersed. Sometimes they can't even find their own community.
Right.
I feel like that's a case-to-case thing. You got to find that. Like, that's a journey.
We're also talking very like United States of America, because I don't know because interracial couples and then having children in the United States looks very different from like the UK.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's a case-to-case thing. How you find like your place, these communities. Some people, their whole thing is broad. Like I'm black, I live in a black community. They still can't find people that they connect with. Like, so I think that's a journey into its own. Like, there's certain things that you have to do to find that.
Yeah, and I think also
that just doesn't. As nice as it would be to be able to be like, I am a part of this group, and with that comes these perks. Like, automatically, I am accepted, and like there's a tribal aspect to it. But oftentimes, that's not the case. You could be ethnic part of this thing that. Yeah. There's nobody with open arms waiting for you to come into your own and be like, there are, but people notice that, and then there are people that develop those communities and those tribes and shit
Yeah.
for people that they know. They notice, hey, there's nobody that's like me. That's like, like, be a part of this community, be a part of this group, be a part of this tribe, be a part of this, are people who are gonna look to be stewards to other people. Like, it's just not the case. But that's a journey into its own. Each person is gonna have to find their own group and whatever, the support that they need, and hopefully they find it within people that look like them. But oftentimes I'm at least in America, no, not really. You have to go out and go find, or they find you.
Yeah.
So but back to sexy black women.
I said Vanessa Williams, but I don't think she's sexy. Or I wouldn't say she is a sexy black woman. I would. You know what though? I think I would. I mean, Shorty was in Playboy, and I think that she's someone who also has the capacity to be sexy. But I mean, she was our first Black Miss America, and she's very Her daughter's sexy though.
I don't.
Lion Babe. What is her name? I don't know. She's a music artist.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little lighter than Vanessa. Zoe Kravitz is
and that's the thing though. How, since we're talking about Vanessa, how much down the line are they? Like, how what are they? Yeah, but Vanessa Williams very much reads as, I'm a black woman. Yeah. Like, and she'll say, like, but that has to do with the foundation that somebody was like, you're a black woman.
Yeah. I mean, she also comes from a different time than us. Yeah. Where it was like, I'm black and I'm proud, fist in the air, and all that kind of stuff. Which, not that that's not a thing now, but that was very much a movement. You can't even, I'm 100% sure she got so much shit because she was on, if a white woman did a Playboy photo shoot, but it never came out, and then they leaked those photos, or they distributed those photos without her consent or anything, the magazine publication, I don't think they would snatch that title from Vanessa Williams. And I'm saying this because she is a black woman, and that's what happened with her. She was made Miss America, and then they just apologized like a couple years ago for that shit. But I mean, if nobody does know, Vanessa Williams, she was crowned our first Miss America, and then it came like her photos from Playboy came out, and then they snatched that crown from her. I don't think that would happen if it was a white woman. Mm-hmm. I really don't think that would happen. And that's why I was saying, like, she came from a very different time. That was like the 80s, I want to say, the early 80s. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But her pageant experience is what I don't see her as. Sexy is not a word that comes to mind when I think about Vanessa. Like, she is gorgeous. She is glamorous. Again, another poised, refined woman. But her daughter is hot. People think Zoe Kravitz is too, but I don't know. I see it more for her dad than anybody else. She looks just like her mother, who I think colorism also comes into play with this too, because not with maybe with our list, but or who we have listed. Yeah, I don't know, but I think, I don't know why this came to mind, but I think Tiana Arnold is more attractive than Tasha Campbell. I always have.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I can see that.
But Tasha was always... I think
that's something that in my conversations with fucking black men, I've heard them plenty of times be like, I'd rather Pam than, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know where
what's her name's head? She got a big
ass
head.
Yes,
she got this big, like, balloon head that's, like, just round. Like a pit bull. She got a head like a pit bull. Not to say that she's not a beauty, but she got a big ass pit bull head. Big ass.
yes, she does. Yeah, okay.
But we can use
that.
No,
I was bringing up color because Zoe Kravitz, and it's like, is she attractive because she's attractive, or is she attractive because she's light skinned and pretty damn light skinned? I don't know. And
I think she's attractive because she's attractive. I don't know.
I just see her there. She's just there for me.
Yeah, that whole, like, if anything,
because at first I'm like, yeah, she is, but I'm like, I look and I'm like, I don't feel anything.
Oh, I think she's cute. I don't really see her as sexy. She's kind of got like this, like, what's the word? Bohemian look to her that kind of doesn't really give me sexy. I think she just kind of gives me cute. Like, I would want to, like, maybe get coffee with her or something, or like chill at a park and play like frisbee or something. And then other than that, that's about it. I don't really
I mean, but that's what her mother gives off too. Although her mother gives like very, I guess you can call it innocent, flirty vibes, the same way Jhené Aiko does to people.
I can actually, it's funny that you say that, because I see Jhené Aiko, or however you pronounce her name, is kind of sexy.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't really. She's just. I see her as sexy. She looks very youthful, and I think that's kind of where I'm like, okay. She is cute. I don't know. I'm not drawn to her. I'm not drawn to her. I also just don't.
She's not at the top of my list. But
I don't pay too much attention. I'm not like, her music doesn't do anything for me, or not doesn't do anything for me. I don't know. I'm not her audience. I am not her target audience for her music, so I don't really pay too much attention to her. But she is cute, and I can see how she's attractive. I'm just not attracted to her. She's definitely a fucking fairy. I think that's what's very enticing about her. She is a fairy. Absolutely. I don't know who else I was just thinking about in my mind. Oh, Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, we both know that
I was gonna save her for last, because I was gonna like have us transition into Meg's new release. Yeah. So we can go ahead and go into that since you just mentioned her. Yeah,
but I mean, we both know that I am very much attracted to that woman. Very much. She's talented. From what we see, she is, a sweetheart. She's nice. And she's gorgeous, and she is darker skinned, and she is thick, and she is confident. And again, I will say she is talented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Megan definitely marks the sexy check. Like, she gets a sexy check from me.
But I wouldn't expect her, in going back to just the Maxim magazine, I wouldn't expect them to pick her because she's still pretty. She's been around for like a couple years.
Yeah, again, we don't even know what their criteria is. To me, it's like, it's just for their viewership. And
because she's an interesting choice.
Their readership is for like.
Tiana Taylor is, and I would think I was saying that too. She's a very interesting choice.
45-year-old white man.
Yeah, I would even probably say 30 now, because I don't think 25-year-olds are reading magazines anymore. Probably when we were younger, and people were reading magazines, I would probably say that the readership might have been like 25-year-olds. Same with like Cosmo, probably like 21-year-olds, whatever. But, and I think Cosmo has a list too. But I think Tiana Taylor is a very interesting choice for sexiest woman, because, again, from what I've seen and what I've observed, Tiana Taylor is very much, I would say, a black celebrity. I know that non-black people who aren't immersed in black culture, who know of Tiana Taylor, probably do because of Kanye West, but maybe not too much. I mean, if nobody knows who she is, they can recognize her by her chiseled abs and very slender frame, and like, she's like abs, boobs, and butt and cheekbones. Like, when I see her, that's what I see. And also it's very extra. Yeah. But it's like, she has like some masculine features, and I know, and I can recognize she's either motherhood has done this for her or she's gotten work done, but her face has definitely softened up a bit. But all in all I'm saying is, like, how did they pick her? Like, what was the criteria again? And like, she's just a very interesting choice for Maxim magazine. Now, if this was Essence or even People, I'd be like, yeah, sure. But like, thinking about Maxim's audience, or who like is their target audience, Tiana Taylor is just a very interesting choice for me. But also, we did talk about Janet Jackson probably was not selected because she was blackballed by that Super Bowl bullshit. Unnecessarily. Unfairly. I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, I just think Tiana Taylor's an interesting choice from their part. Not in my mind. It's just like, who brought her name up? How were they able to successfully get her to be like in part of this lineup, and then also get this title? Because like, I know she's doing directorial stuff. I don't think she has an album coming out, and I don't think she had an album coming out at the time when they were probably putting this list together. And I know she just had another baby. I think I follow her on Instagram. She's married. I don't know. I just think it's interesting that Maxim magazine chose her, especially based on their history of not choosing black women. And Tiana Taylor's the first black woman. I don't see a problem with it at all. If that's what any of what I said sounds like, I'm just really thinking like, how did they come to the conclusion of Tiana Taylor based on their history of who's been on this list? Like Britney Spears was on the list before. Britney Spears is not sexy. She's not sexy.
Like,
but I also know there was like some... I don't think Britney Spears was ever sexy. That was a child that I think was a little bit of...
No, I'm not talking
you know what I'm
about
saying?
that period. I'm talking about like Neptune's Britney Spears.
No, Britney, I don't think anything about her except she's a pop star. And I adore Britney Spears. I just see pop star and like she's a cute girl and she's a sweetheart. I don't see sexy with her.
Yeah, the world would disagree with you.
I know the world would disagree with me, but would the world disagree with me because they really feel that way or because she was purported to be such? Because her first music video was her as a schoolgirl. You know what I'm saying? It's like...
I can't really tell you.
I don't know.
I just know they're putting her in jumpsuits and having her walk around with snakes in jungle bikinis. Like that pretty much, to me, like that says white people's sex appeal to me. So.
Yeah, you're right. So, you are right. Whatever. The criteria seems interesting. They also might just have a whole new team. Or new people, I'm saying, at the table who make decisions for the magazine publication.
Oh, yeah, that definitely.
That literally never crossed my mind until this very moment.
Yeah. Well, we did talk about that. That was, when we had that conversation we had, that was kind of like what we talked about. Like, I did mention that,
Yeah, because, people
the head
are
writers change, they swap out.
They're like, y'all need more black people in here.
Yeah, and they're, of course. And I think that their readership, they're making an attempt to, they're literally saying
diversify.
Like, diversify. That's pretty much what that unveil is telling you, that our idea of
never
what
mind.
we think is sexy has changed.
My question's been answered.
Mm-hmm.
Tiana Taylor was selected for, I mean, yes, she is a sexy woman. And they got people at the table who were like, y'all got to diversify this list a little bit more.
So another sexy black woman, very sexy black woman who is at the height of their powers right now, Meg Thee Stallion. She released a single, Thought Shit. We watched the video. It was, to me, like Hood Kubrick level shit, because the music video, I think they're getting a lot of stuff across to you in the music video, as most music videos kind of do, but it's kind of subtle. She's definitely like sending some messages to our audience, and we watched it, and I was curious about what you thought and sharing it with our listeners.
I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I'll be on the social medias a lot more than you are. One of the guys that worked on the music video made a TikTok, and the Grips had to actually design new rigs for their cameras to be able to get the close-up shots that they did of their butts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
So innovation and ass shaking. See, this is something that always kind of fucks me up with like people and like their issues with like sex and like sexuality and like expression, is that who can be mad about ass shaking? But like when it's done in a way where like it's artistic, because that video, it had layers. It had some layers to it. There were some references. Yeah, somebody made a thread of all the references. But how can you be mad when we're making the world better and we're shaking our ass while we do it? Like, who's mad at that? You definitely have to look at yourself. If you're mad, men are mad about it. There's a bunch of men who are like, I'm tired of Meg rapping about the same thing. Can she rap about some real shit? And it's like, she raps about other things. You don't even listen. One, you also could just not listen. If you want to listen to quote conscious unquote rap, then you can listen to Rhapsody or you can listen to No Name. Like, there are women out there, and those are just two names that I just threw out there. You can go listen to them. Go listen to some Erykah Badu. They're out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, go listen to Lauryn Hill. Like, the music's out there. Just go listen to that. If what you're listening to is not what you are seeking, if what you're watching isn't what you're seeking, then stop watching and listening to it and go find something else. Now, that's not to say that you can't watch something and critique
something, that's very different than just like, I wish she would rap about something else. Well, guess what? Maybe she's not going to. Maybe she's not. What if all she did was rap about sex in her ass? What then? What are you gonna do? You gonna be mad about it? She's winning awards. She's topping the charts. And I'm not gonna sit here and act like I don't know why people get mad about it. I mean, one, there's like respectability politics. Two, I know that people just love to police black women in their bodies, and some people hate Megan because she, because of Tory Lanez being a shithead, and they're mad that she said something about her experience and that he came under fire for it or whatever. But just shut up. Like, just shut up. She's gonna rap about whatever she wants to. And if you actually, you can just go to Genius, or you can just go to Google and like just look up the lyrics to her songs to find out exactly what she's rapping about. Because she talks about her experience being a college student. She talks about losing her mother and her grandmother. She talks about her mother's influence on her being a rapper. She talks about being a skilled rapper. Yeah, she talks about sex. So the fuck what? And I hate also that every time that people talk about women who sing or rap about having sex or their body or something like that, they always bring up Missy Elliott as like a counter. Like, oh, I miss Missy Elliott when she's rap. Missy Elliott rapped a lot. That is a nasty woman.
You don't even know.
Y'all, again, you could go right on to Google.
Y'all niggas don't remember 1 Minute Man?
1 Minute motherfucking Man.
Y'all niggas don't remember, bro, come on.
Every song.
Gossip folks, come on, man. Y'all niggas wasn't listening. Y'all wasn't listening to the music.
Work It? Work It.
Yeah, bro, y'all wasn't
Work
listening.
It. She's talking about shaving her vagina to have sex. Are you kidding me? Missy has been rapping about sex. But anyway, shut up about it. Just don't listen to Megan if you don't want to hear her rap about the same things. If she's doing the same things, then just don't. It's so easy. Ron put on the Fast and Furious 6 for whatever devilish reason he wanted to put that on in this household. But I don't care for Fast and the Furious, so I don't watch it. Like, it's that simple. It's that easy. I don't even know what they're about, but I know that it's not for me. I'm not the target audience. That's another thing. Maybe you're not the target audience. I'm not the target audience, so I'm not going to watch it. I know a lot of people love J. Cole. I am not one of those people. I don't listen to his music. I don't follow his career. I'm not the target audience. It's super simple. It also saves you a lot of frustration and anger and unnecessary time wasting. Just don't. If you have a Spotify account, you can go to an artist page and you can click do not play this artist, and that music will never come up for you. That's a little tidbit. Apple Music doesn't have it from what I understand. You can just thumbs down songs and it'll change the algorithm for you. But if you have a Spotify account, you can go ahead and just go to Megan Thee Stallion's page and click do not listen to this artist or do not play this artist, and you'll never hear her music again. I just solved an issue for you. Then you don't have to hear her rap about the same stuff over and over again.
Bro, she definitely was just like mad. Like this whole
you're reading lyrics?
Yeah, this whole song is just like somebody's getting this.
I mean, she said that when I watched. She did a live stream on YouTube before the 15-20 minutes before the video and the song dropped, and she was saying, I was just talking my shit.
Yeah, this is pretty much what the song. The third verse, she just went berserk. Like the third verse, this shit made me buy a book, but I squeezed a little head in my calendar. That shit's funny as hell. Big bake take little big bitch added up. Hoes taking shots, but they ain't in my caliber. Book, but I squeeze a little head in my calendar. That's funny as shit because I feel like that's factual. Like, yeah, I'm just gonna go give me some head. I'll be back.
I'll be back in the studio, y'all. I gotta go. I got an appointment.
The only time I got
an appointment. But yeah, she talked about it was originally a freestyle, and she said, I was just talking my shit. I had to let people know for a minute, and I had to let myself know, like, I'm a bad bitch, and I'm like, I can do whatever I want.
That's pretty much the whole song.
Yeah.
Like, she said, yo, this shit's funny as hell. My chain ain't hitting if a bitch ain't hurting. Look, I ain't even finna argue with a bitch. One thing I know, two things for certain, none of these hoes say shit to my face. And none of these hoes finna see me at the bank.
Was that about sex?
And I'm gonna keep talking all the shit that I want, and I dare one of these hoes to come tell me I can't.
Yeah, so that's that. But the music video, Really cool. I really liked it. Lots of movie references. From the thread that I saw, Fight Club was referenced. That Skin movie was referenced at the end of the video. Mean Girls was referenced. I don't remember anything else, but there was a Twitter thread. I don't know, whatever. But there were some movies that were referenced in the film. It gave me a very, I don't know, it felt kind of surreal, where basically there was this white man who's a senator who was watching Meg's body video
crazy
and left like some really disrespectful comment, but then was about to jerk off to it, and then Megan calls him, and this is the Fight Club reference where it's like, don't disrespect women, we do all these things around you, your life doesn't run without us, so don't piss us off. And then the video just proceeds with this white man going about his day, and these black women are shaking their ass everywhere. And like
also like the worker class.
Yeah, the working class. So they're nurses, they're police officer, they're sanitation workers, they're in the supermarket, store clerks, they're in a diner, waitresses and cooks, I guess. I don't know. They didn't show anybody cooking. It gave me very I was like, this is giving me a little bit of Lady Gaga, Beyonce telephone music video vibes. It gave me I don't remember what other thing I said, but it was definitely kind of Gaga-esque. I don't know. I really liked it. I like anything that woman does. Even if I don't actually care for it, because her Good News album, I listened to a couple songs. I listened to the album, and some songs I'm like, I don't want to hear this shit ever again. But I appreciate what she does, and I appreciate her as an artist. I appreciate all the ladies out there, making really good music and actually writing some lyrics, writing some thought-provoking, really creative bars, if you will.
Bro, what's more creative than finding time to get some head? What more do we need to do? That's about as creative you can need to be, because you're going to have to do some creative shit to make some more time if your schedule's that packed.
Yes, you have to be innovative.
Yeah.
You got to be flexible.
So, fuck. How much
and that's not to say, I personally, pop music is probably my number one favorite genre of music to listen to. So, I don't know shit about rap and hip hop. I know things, but I don't know, the gamut. I'm not going to say that I'm, knowledgeable. But, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't like pop. I just said, I adore Britney Spears, love Janet Jackson. Whatever, I'm not going to harp anymore on it about it.
We can transition. You can go on.
No, I was just going to keep going on about the people mad about women talking about sex in their bodies and stuff. Okay. But nobody's mad about men talking about drugs and guns and jewelry and money that they don't have. So not only are they lying, they're saying the same things over and over again, and not even in a creative way. There aren't many bars that I can say, when I think about people like Future or, I don't know, any of the Floops Fooglies. I don't listen to any of them, so I'm not even going to sit here and act like I know exactly what they're saying. But I don't know that they have any thought-provoking lyrics like the women who are at the top of the charts do. But I'm biased, and I'm not going to act like I'm not. But, I think we can move into our next topic.
All right, so we're going to go into our next topic for today's episode, which is Disney. And Disney, for me, or one of the reasons why I want to talk about it, is just I feel like it's this huge company that creates so much content, but there's so much strangeness surrounding this company. So much strangeness that I feel like it's almost as big as the size of the company, but it's often overlooked. It's got a history of just blatant racist depictions of characters, just all kinds of these sex abuse or child abuse, so many different things that I just feel like it isn't brought up enough, it isn't talked about enough, considering the size of the company. and I feel like it's a reality for a lot of major companies like Nike and such, where there's just this wealth of ugly stuff, and you don't really hear too much about it. No one ever mentions it or brings it up, or so. I mean, we're all happy. We live in the age of streaming. We got Disney Plus. We got pretty much every piece of Disney content that Disney is willing to give us at our fingertips.
Not The Weekenders, not Pepper Ann, not Bear in the Big Blue House, not PB&J Outer, but...
Great, right? But I don't know. It's just not enough for me to overlook some of the more out in the open things. And I can't even imagine...
What's not.
Yeah, what we don't know. But let's start with racism and move that into something that Ed wanted to bring up. Because I'm relying on her for that. Which is Princess and the Frog. So Princess and the Frog was released, I don't know, maybe like 2009 or some shit like that. When did Princess and the Frog come out? I don't know, yeah, but first Black Disney princess, most underwhelming.
Oh my God.
Disney princess. So, I don't know the plot. I just know that it is based off, and that's another thing about Disney. Well, I can tell you. That's another thing about Disney, that they use some things in their children's stories that are like based off something that's like kind of real. So even though we're watching Princess and the Frog, it's a cute little story. It's just about voodoo and this strange shadow man entity who I think... And
it's not even the accuracy in any way, from what I understand.
Who I think is supposed to be Papa Legba, because oftentimes... Did he have a cane? Did he walk with a limp? Because Papa Legba has a cane.
I think he has a cane.
Yeah. That's Papa Legba right there.
His song was the best song in the movie, and the soundtrack isn't even all that great.
Yeah. And again, they're low-key slipping some occult to your kids on the low, even though that's, Papa Legba ain't really a bad thing or nothing, but it's just weird. It's just weird and nobody talks about it. It's just weird to me. I
need you to elaborate a little on the occult thing, because I know that you don't think the occult is inherently or completely bad or anything, but what is the problem or what is the issue with slipping that occult in there?
Well, you're introducing something to someone without really appropriately telling them what it is.
Yeah.
So you have an idea of the thing, right? But it's connected to something else. You don't really know what it is. And I think that is inherently dangerous because it gives people an idea of like being familiar with something when you
and being able to practice it when
you aren't really familiar with it. I'm trying to think of something else that we watched where it's like, oh, that's a real thing. But I can't think of anything, but we'll just stick to Papa Legba. And it's like, and then they also made him a bad guy, which Papa Legba isn't really a bad guy. He's not a bad entity. He's not like a demon or anything. So I think that again, is also kind of problematic. It also puts into the minds of people that like magic or like, if you grew up...
Or black people doing magic, because there's a bunch of white people who do magic. Yeah. I mean, Charmed is a show that,
is a bad thing when really that's a part of someone's culture. Like that's
a whole ass deep culture,
legit thing,
and very specific to a very specific culture and very specific people who can participate and practice that.
Yeah. I feel like that just was, there could have been a better way that we can like, all right, we're setting something in the world of voodoo, like let's maybe do
because you know what I'm thinking now. I'm like, the Princess and the Frog. It was just a fairy tale. We know Disney takes Cinderella is not a Disney idea. Mm-hmm. No, none of these are Disney ideas. And the Princess and the Frog was literally just like this girl who met this guy and then she kissed him or she had to kiss the frog to bring him into a human form or whatever. Like voodoo, hoodoo, none of that was part of the thing. So it's like, why was that? What was the decision for that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's set in New Orleans, so I mean, I guess it makes sense, but like,
and they don't ever really like say it's just there. It's this thing. It's like I got friends in places, and who the friends opening doors. It's like, it's just a lot. They're giving you the shit without giving you the shit, and I think that kind of because not everybody has a grandparent that they can sit down and be like, well,
No,
this
right.
is it, and this is what it's about, and this is what they're telling you, and this is, like.
Yeah.
But a lot of Disney stuff is that they are taking stories, like
Real people still.
folk
Coco.
stories, history story, like
Was Coco
actual
who you were talking
story.
about? Because Coco, the person Coco is a real person, and she's like not really making money off of that movie or anything.
No, I don't know, but I do know that they do take actual.
Yeah, but that's an example where wonderful movie. I cried like 7 times for very different reasons, but like the person, like Coco the person, they apparently, like, she's poor, and there's like this I think it's like a hut or some dwelling where she is, and she sits there like all day, and people come and visit her and take pictures with her, and like there's merch around and everything, but it's like,
yeah, it's crazy.
It's real weird. It's real strange.
Hollywood will gladly take your whole life story, turn it into a fiction, and detach you from the absolute idea that this was your life. Like, and then the size of the fiction will be so large that it'll never be attached back to you, because the idea of whatever it was is so big now.
Yeah.
That it'll never be like, oh, this is this is really my life story. Like, I'm trying to tell you.
I mean, I think Moana was similar too with Maui, like Dwayne's Dwayne's character, Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character. About how they depicted him, and I think there was some deities. I don't think it was completely accurate or true.
Yeah, they have
I don't know what was. Yeah, I mean, they have to. I don't know what was the thing. I follow, or I've seen some people who are native to Hawaii that talk about like this movie was not accurate, and this and this part, and all these kinds of things, but I wanted to give you the story of the Princess and the Frog movie, just to give you a little understanding from what I remember. There's Princess Tiana, who it's not even royalty. She's not royalty. It's Prince Naveen, who he like came to town or some shit like that. This is actually not the best description, but whatever. She exists. Her father taught her to cook or something like that, and her dream is to own a restaurant. And I believe her mother's still alive. I think her father passed away, and that's her dream. But she's just like a waitress. She's friends with like this rich white Southern belle girl who's younger. Her daddy's rich. I don't know if her dad is like the mayor or something, but her dad got pulled some way. Strange relationship kind of there, where it's like the white girl's like, I see. It's not any blatant racism that I remember seeing in the movie. Of course not. It's Disney, unless it's The Color of Friendship or whatever, Selma Lord Selma, but it's sort of like the white friend where they're like, oh, I don't see you any different, sugar, like you're just my friend kind of thing, but then they see something different, and then I don't know, something changes, whatever. The point is, she meets Prince Naveen, and I don't remember what happened to him, but he was turned into a frog by Papa Legba. And then I think she kissed him, and what was supposed to happen was he's supposed to turn into a human, but then she turned into a fucking frog and was a frog for most of the movie. They befriended, I don't remember the Firefly's name. Oh, fuck, I don't remember the Firefly's name, but something sad happens to him. He's a beloved character. But the movie is mostly about animals, as if we're watching, like, The Lion King in New Orleans. In the bayou, there's like alligators and all kind of stuff. It's like the Jungle Book. It's like the Jungle Book hit New Orleans more accurately, just based on the animals. But and then I don't remember, I guess they were able to obtain some spell or talk to Mama, whatever her name is, some other black woman who's much older. I think she's blind, but she like does hoodoo or voodoo, and she's part of it. Some spell happens, and she's able to, they're both become humans again, and she's princess of whatever fucking parade was happening. She was never made actual royalty like Cinderella or Rapunzel or whomever. So it's kind of like, oh, here's your little black princess.
Yeah, I was about
like, to say, here, dang, shut up.
I was about to say that. Like, Disney, like, oh, they're so good at feigning equality. And, like, I don't know, just me being me, I'd be like, damn, these niggas is really pulling this shit off, and people really be thinking like they're for everybody, and it's like, no, y'all want a black hair this, like it's almost like they scoffed at it, and they're like, give us your coin, like we gave you what you want, give us the coin, They got the coin, but they didn't really give us what we wanted.
Not a
you know
damn thing.
So
I was so disappointing. It was so disappointing. And then I watched Once Upon a Time, and Princess Tiana does show up in the show, but much later, in like one of the last seasons or the later seasons, she shows up and something about a frog, but she's not necessarily the frog. It's like some other guy who his girlfriend was turned into a frog, so she had to go to Papa Legba to get some spell or some shit, and then the guy turned into a frog, and all he wanted to do was be with his girlfriend or his wife or whatever she was to him. I don't know. Once Upon a Time does some real cool stuff with fairy tales or whatever, but she made an appearance in that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just so much. Disney so trash, bro. I ever just be thinking about it, like, my goodness. And then people love them. Disney love them.
I mean, because they put out a product that people really enjoy. I just told, like, Coco is a really good movie. I can't say the same for the Princess.
That goes to show you in America, bro. Just be good at your job, and you don't really have to worry about the rest. Like, you don't have to worry about being a decent human being. Just participate in, like, consumerism
Cancel culture is not real.
Well enough, and then it's like,
yeah. I mean, even the stories that you hear about people that work at, like, the Disney parks, whether it's Disney World or Disneyland, like the characters and all that kind of shit, how they have to,
they got these fuckers going into method acting just to be, like, a person at the park, like,
right. And meanwhile, people are just happy to see you in full regalia, full costume. Jeez. They're like, "Oh, bitch, it's Chippendale. Let's get a picture."
So, like, the child abuse stuff, that's more with, like, the Disney Channel?
Yeah, I think more with Disney Channel. From what I understand, I mean, a lot of the Disney child stars, most of them women, from what I know, like, have had not pleasurable experiences. I mean, child actors in general. Yeah, there was this guy
at a crazy rate.
There was this gay guy that I follow on Twitter. I do not remember his name. He was kind of radical, and he was on his way to becoming a child star or something like that, and he talked about trigger warning pedophilia. He talked about he would, like, it was like there will be these mansions, and it's like old white men, and they'd be playing with these little kids. And that would just be that was just the norm, and that was just the expectation. And this is not like some 80s shit. This is like some 2000s shit. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, the shit that I've seen and the shit that I don't know if he experienced anything, because he seemed to be a little bit more aware and a little bit more life experienced for his young age at the time. Right. To know, like, this is not okay. I need to get the fuck out of here.
I would imagine so. Like, pervy gatekeepers. Like, just discussing gatekeepers.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, I keep thinking about Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up about Dan Snyder, and the issues that go on with him.
Because, like, they have the iCarly reboot or whatever, and the girl who plays Sam, she's not being part of it. She had a really fucked up experience.
I'm sure.
From what I understand, being on the show, she apparently had an eating disorder, and they made her be the friend who was always eating. Like, she will always be eating on the show. Like, that was, like, if you gave her personality traits, food was one of them. Or if you watched the show and you saw that, like that. And I didn't even really watch iCarly, and I knew that. But she's not part of it. And also, a lot of people, there's a black woman who has not taken her place. Like, there's not a black Sam. It's just a black woman who's now part of the show, who helps with iCarly, the show, in the show. And she's gotten a shit ton of racism, but she cussed everybody out for it, and rightfully so. But she got a lot of racism for, like, you replace Sam, where the fuck is Sam? And Sam is like, I'm traumatized. She has a podcast, and she talks about her experience. I think she had a shitty home life, shitty career life, and so she's like, I'm not acting anymore. And when they did a live with the guy who plays Carly's brother, and Carly, Miranda Cosgrove, they were like, oh, you know, they asked about Sam, and I was like, you know, she stepped away from acting. We respect that, and we send her much love. So, but that's just, like, literally the most recent example of a child star, not on Disney, but a child star who, like, an example. There's a couple of people. There's Coco Jones, who was on Nickelodeon. It's one of the movies that we might watch. Let It Shine, with what's the name from Everybody Hates Chris. She's a black girl who's mega talented. She was on the show, and I think she did a video, or she talked about her negative experience, and it's mostly with racism, I want to say. But her experience, and I haven't watched it yet, of being a child star with Disney. I don't know if it's specific with Disney, but she was on Disney. And also, what's her name? Allison, the white girl that was dancing in Missy Elliott's videos. I don't remember her last name, but Allison, she did a video too talking about being a child star. She was on some Disney movies. I mean, Demi Lovato, my God. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched her first documentary. I didn't watch the series documentary. I don't remember exactly how she got into drugs. I think it was just who she was around, and she was just on that shit. And it seemed to be there were some people that were around that really cared about her. Like when she was doing Camp Rock, the Jonas Brothers were kind of like, bro, she's wildin'. We need to save her. But I mean, that's a very, very, there's details and nuances within her story that she was able to get away with everything because of her addiction and everything like that.
We just recently had this story about the guy from Drake and Josh.
I'm sorry, I just misgendered Demi Lovato. They use they them pronouns. Who?
The guy from Drake and Josh. He was arrested in Mexico on child abuse charges.
Who?
One of them. One of the
brothers.
The guy Drake.
Drake Bell.
Drake Bell. Yeah, he was the one. He was arrested in Mexico for child abuse. I don't know. If,
my God.
I don't know the extent of the charges, but I know it was like endangering minor.
Oh my God. I ain't never see it for that guy either. He was on Nickelodeon. But yeah, I mean, Demi Lovato was on Disney stuff. She was on a TV show. I want to say it was Sunny with a Chance. I don't know. Yeah. That wasn't my time. Yeah. I was past Disney at that point, or Disney Channel at that point. But she was on Camp Rock. I think that was like her breakout role. But her and Selena Gomez started on Barney together. I know that. Selena Gomez was a Disney kid, but I don't know if she has any tragic stories. I know that she's sick. I don't know what illness or disease she has. I want to say it's lupus, but I'm not necessarily sure. But yeah, I mean, Lindsay Lohan isn't necessarily considered a Disney star, but she was associated with Disney. And
they all
I think
came out great.
Yeah, I think a number of her movies were like Disney productions, but not Disney Channel.
No, yeah. It's Viacom, same beast, different company. It's like Disney, Viacom, whoever. It's still the same thing of like a culture of exploitation where they're like using the fact that they're in these positions of power to abuse people. Like that's pretty much it. It doesn't matter. It's all over the place. Like it could be like whatever. They're there looking to take advantage of somebody in pursuit of their dream, willing to do anything.
And and I think that's another thing. The parents are very willing to exploit their children in whatever ways possible to get either live their dreams through their children or to make a bunch of money off their children, or they just are like, my child's gonna be a star because they're talented in A, B, and C. China McClain, some black girl who she was on The Descendants. She was Ursula's daughter. But she was also on like some other TV show when she was younger on Disney Channel. So she's definitely like a Disney. She's a Disney Channel kid. Yeah. And I don't know if she has had any traumatic experiences. However, and I've talked to you about this before, this is just a theory. This is not proven or anything, but I'm just sharing this as a point of something to discuss in the conversation. She, along with a couple other like Disney child stars, even child stars or whatever, are like super religious and are always talking about, the love of Jesus and the power of Jesus and God and healing, all that kind of stuff. And she talks about it often. And people argue with her, and I'm not here to argue about it. Like that's not this episode. But somebody was like, I wonder if like some of these child stars turn to Christianity after experiencing, whether it's direct abuse or just like the environment that they're working in. And
it's a common thing. It's funny that I was going to say that too. It's a common thing for a lot of people that experience that kind of abuse to turn to mass like religious order, because it gives them a foundation of something. Especially if they've been exploited by people that they were trusting before. Somebody has to have something that they can kind of at least to some degree rely on, whether it be like the idea of Christ or the idea of the church, the community, the people that will not take advantage of them like that.
Or
So
would
that's definitely
not.
a thing. Like, let's look at Britney Spears, who's like,
Jesus.
she has posts that she's now verbally, like, she's, you know what I mean? That's the energy that she's giving out because, and to some extent, she's been exploited. She doesn't, the people that she trusts around her, or the people that she should be able to trust around her are taking advantage of her to a certain extent. So,
I mean,
it's
a
common
complete
thing. So
advantage.
a valid observation. On a lighter note, we have we started a conversation about Disney, and then we started to look over Disney Channel original movies. I have seen about almost exactly 4 Disney original Disney Channel original movies.
DComs.
Yes, I've seen like Johnny Tsunami. I've seen Halloween Town. I've seen Under the Bed with Bumps.
Don't look under the bed.
Yeah,
Look under the bed.
I combined that in like
Goosebumps?
4 other movies. Like Goosebumps, Don't Look Under the Bed, Things That Go Bump in the Night. I just combined like 5 fucking movies. Every time I think
Bump
about
beds.
That, and that's probably it. I've seen Smart House.
4.
And I've seen a little bit of Xenon.
4.5.
So yeah, that's the totality of my Disney
DComs you've
original
seen.
Channel.
And I have seen many more. I was definitely, throughout my childhood, I want to say from like in middle school is when I was definitely watching Disney Channel. And that's the target audience at the time, definitely middle school. And I want to say that's probably still the target audience. But I definitely watched Disney Channel. But I want to say that it was probably at its best at that time. Like, there was Cheetah Girls, The 13th Year. Brink is a little older, but that was on a lot. Smart House, Halloween Town, Johnny Tsunami, Don't Look Under the Bed, Under Wraps, Phantom at the Megaplex, My Mom's Dating a Vampire, My Date with the President's Daughter, Lizzie McGuire, Cadet Kelly, That's So Raven. What else? Oh, Luck of the Irish that they play every year.
Can of Worms was the
Can of Worms, which was one that I clearly forgot about.
Yeah, I gotta watch that first.
So we're gonna watch some of those movies, and we'll probably give a little review on this podcast, but we're definitely going to do that separate on YouTube. Like that's its own can of worms to do. We're going to pick 10 movies. If you're listening and you'd like to suggest a movie for Ron to watch, I've watched most of them. Rip Girls was really good. Fucking Double Teamed, Motocrossed, Gotta Kick It Up, where we met America Ferrera, and I thought it was really interesting that her name was America. Gotta Kick It Up is a movie about Latina girls, which is
I think America is like actually like a goddess. That
interesting.
Yeah, like
then this country need not be named that. But but it was like Hispanic and Latin girls who are on a cheerleading dance team, something other, and like, you know, they got to get to the competition to win the big prize. Eddie's $1 Million Cook-Off, Horse Sense, what was the one, Miracle. I'm thinking of Miracle on St. Anna, which is not a Disney Channel movie at all. The one with Frankie Muniz in it. There was an Even Stevens movie, Proud Family movie. Like, Disney Channel was really good at that time, what they were putting out, but what they were doing behind the scenes was probably the most notoriously horrible shit that they probably have ever done. Behind the scenes, like they had the Proud Family on a television show. They had that on that channel. Proud Family, That's So Raven, Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens. Oh my God, My Life with Derek, Phil from the Future. That's all I can remember right now. Oh, that movie Quince. I'm literally just naming shit. Quince was cool. Stepsister from Planet Weird. I think we should watch that one.
Yeah, I wrote that down on the list. Stepsister from Planet Weird. That's the one where they turn into bubbles or some shit?
Yeah, so they're aliens and they're bubbles. That's all I remember. And they were using blow dryers. Oh my God, Up and Away. Black superhero movie with...
I correct myself, 5.5. Because I definitely seen Up and Away. That was a gem. That was enjoyable.
Yeah. Black superhero family. And people say it was so bad,
good.
but it wasn't right.
Like, no. Who said it was bad?
People say that shit is
that
bad.
That shit was pretty solid, bro. For a kid's movie, like they gave you like what, and then they had. First of all, the cast alone.
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up. The cast alone. The cast alone, bro. You can't talk down on that movie. First of all, I'm not having it. Like if I catch, I just thought about that. The cast is great.
The cast is really great.
What? Get out of here.
That'll be an honorable mention movie that we watch just because.
Bro, get the fuck out of here.
We need to give it some ratings on Disney Plus because I know that people are hating on it. The Color of Friendship, which I don't care too much about that movie, but that was on there. They had white people saying racial slurs from South Africa. The fuck. What else? I mean, Xenon. You already named that you've seen Xenon, but Xenon was a really good movie. Really cool, really cheesy. I mean, they were all appropriately cheesy movies. Oh, A Christmas Miracle, whatever that fucking movie was, where the girl made it snow in LA for Christmas. Yeah, those are some Disney Channel original movies that I can name off the top of my head. And that's only because we were looking through Disney Plus and like some things came back to my mind. But I've seen all of those movies. I've seen all of them. Oh my God. What the fuck? So Weird. That was such a cool show and so fucking terrifying. It's a paranormal show.
Oh, I love So Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember So Weird.
So Weird was cool. That was
like the Erie, Indiana of like Disney Channel.
Sure.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't? I don't think you watched Erie.
No.
Indiana, no. Erie, Indiana was like
I've heard it.
Show that came on Fox, and it was like, basically like
Gravity Falls.
Yeah, basically like Gravity Falls. It was based off of I think it was based off of fucking. The fuck is the name of that show? Well, Gravity Falls was also based off of. I can't think of the name. This really weird show that came on like in the 80s, but I can't think of the name of it. It'll come to me. But
yeah, what you want to talk about? Say about now that I've named all those films.
Yeah, we're gonna watch those and check back on our socials to find out more about when we're releasing content about it. We'll definitely keep you updated through the podcast. And it will be releasing like our own like overviews and reviews and like write-ups.
I'm excited for that because I'll be rewatching these movies for the first time in literally over maybe 15 years. Yeah, probably even more so than that. And you'll be watching these movies definitely for the first time. For the most part,
yeah, for the first time. Except for the 5.5 that we mentioned.
Yeah, we're not going to watch those. Xenon, we're not watching. Like, the Xenon... Classic, it always comes on. Always, or not always comes on, but people are very familiar with Xenon. We still sing Protozoa's songs. And Raven was in that movie for 2 of the 3. But anyway, anything else about Disney Channel original movies or Disney or?
Yeah, I feel like we've definitely got like both sides of the coin. Beautiful childhood memories and like horde abuse and complete just negligence for any type of like.
Oh, you didn't even touch on the racism for real.
Yeah, I mean the movie.
You saw the color. Oh, the Princess and the Frog. That was
I
was going to say. I mean, even looking back. Oh no, that's Tom and Jerry that I was thinking about the Mammy character. Mm-hmm. But like Disney has created some really racist. We said it in the beginning,
like where there was just outright racist depictions, like the crow from Dumbo.
Yeah.
And I think there's some black cats and.
I mean, the Siamese cats in
the Siamese cats and what's the name?
I think it's Aristocats. Aristocats.
Yeah, either that or like it's probably Aristocats. I think, but it's right there. It's right there.
It was not.
And Disney, and I don't really appreciate the fact that they'll be like, "Oh, we're just gonna remove that." Scene
and not even address it.
It's like, nah, that's not really solid, bro. Like. And they'll say something. They'll put out
a statement, but everybody puts out statements.
It's a joke. It's almost like a joke.
It's placating.
It's like a joke. It's like, and that's the thing that upsets me. It's just like they just don't.
It's insulting.
Care. Yeah, it's insulting. And then like people are like, no, okay,
good enough,
good enough.
That works for me.
And I mean, I'm not trying to keep anybody from enjoying their Disney created shows. Like as a Star Wars guy myself, like I'm, what the racist crow in Dumbo is definitely not on my mind when I'm watching new episodes of The Bad Batch, but it's something to keep in mind. I don't think it's fair to just be like straight fans and not to question.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about how some people are like diehard fans.
Yeah.
Oh, because we were talking about like Disney World. There was a commercial that came on TV that was like talking about, oh yeah, Disney World, you could save like 10%. And I was like, saving 10% is not, that's not doing anything for me.
Still like
Disney,
$2,000.
I have never been. My parents kept lying to me and saying like, yeah, we took you to Disney when you were 1. And I was like, I don't think so. I think that was my older sister who was 6 years older than me.
I don't think so.
I was like, no, I've never been. And even if I have, that doesn't even count. Why would you even take me? I don't remember that. But I've never been to Disney World, Disneyland, Disney, whatever the hell else exists. And I kind of want to go just to be able to experience it and to say I have gone. But I've never been. But there are people. Oh, I was saying like, damn, people gotta like, do you save up for that? But then you were talking about, because you lived out in LA, so you know people who like literally go to Disney World Land, whatever the hell's out there, every weekend.
Yeah, it's super weird.
And
at least like
that's so bizarre to me, because I mean, Six Flags is not nearly as big as Disney World Land, whatever. But it's like, I don't want to go to Six Flags every weekend, because that gets boring to me. Like, I can only get on a roller coaster once, maybe twice, but that's it. It's not like the experience is over for me. So it's just really interesting how people, like the people who love Disney really fucking love Disney. Like, there's this one cosplayer that I follow who cosplays literally primarily Disney characters. Mm-hmm. In fact, she met her boyfriend or fiance. She was cosplaying Jasmine. Like, she was doing a lot of Jasmine content. He was doing a lot of Aladdin content. Mm-hmm. And somebody drew them, like this was Tumblr days, somebody drew them together. They weren't together yet, but somebody drew their depictions of those characters together. And it's just like, you know, I guess Divine Intervention or Destiny or Disney love story, whatever. But they met that way, and like diehard Disney fans, man. It's so interesting to me, because we aren't people who are diehard anything fans. Like, I'm very proud to be a Kid Cudi fan, but I think I said this on the last podcast. I have not watched any movie that man's been in. I haven't. There's some songs that I'm just like, I don't know those words.
And then you can also separate like him as a person and him as an artist. Like,
yeah, for sure, absolutely. I mean,
and that's the thing that
I can, but I don't know if you can do that. I don't know if I actually do that. I'm just like,
no, you do, because I've heard you say like, you know, I like the thing that Cudi does, and then you'll be like, but he's like, it's white women or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he was very much like dating a lot of white women at the time.
Yeah, that's a line where it's like, I can appreciate this person as an artist and what they put into their music and what an artist can represent through their music. Like, they embody a certain idea and the idea that Cudi represents as an artist. Mm-hmm. And then like him as a person who's like, all right, he struggles as a man, and then, you know, he might have a...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he doesn't just have, because I know his baby mother is African. I don't know what country her lineage is from. I really don't remember. I don't remember. She's a black woman. But I mean, whatever. That was just an example, but it's just really interesting. Like Disney, like I don't know anybody who's a Nickelodeon fan the way that people are Disney fans. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Like, I don't know. And if I don't know them, if they exist, I just don't see them. But like people who are
Disney,
yeah, man, they die fucking hard. I don't know if there's like some subliminal programming going on that reaches some people. Yeah, that's the Disney shit that's not in Nickelodeon or even Cartoon Network stuff. Because like personally, I think if you're gonna be a big fan of something like that, I think it should be Cartoon Network. But that's my own biased opinion. But Cartoon Network's not as big of a conglomerate as Disney is. Like Disney, like you were saying, Marvel, fucking Nat Geo, fucking Star Wars, and then all their Disney shit. Like, it's a whole Pixar and all kinds of shit. Like, Disney got hella connects everywhere.
Yeah, they own a lot more than... They own ABC. They own...
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Go. They own... They own a lot more stuff than ESPN, which is a subsidiary of ABC. So, a lot of things are... The whole reason why we had sports last year... partially was kind of part because of Disney. Like, the people were able to use the bubble thing, which was in Orlando, and So yeah, that's way too much power.
That's a lot of power. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, it's just Disney fans. I mean, if you are a Disney fan, I would love to hear from you and like why you're a Disney fan, and not trying to find out like why. I'm not trying to say why you shouldn't be. I really would like to get into the mind of a Disney fan because it's just so interesting. Like people who like, I love Disney. Like I know a couple people personally who like, and you were saying that they have Disney passes or like park passes, and that probably is maybe more cost effective, but I feel like they probably cost an arm and a leg anyway. People who like get married at Disney, I'm like, one, y'all have a lot of fucking money to be getting married at Disney, staying in like the wedding suite or like the Cinderella suite, whatever the fuck it is. I'm pretty sure that all that shit exists, but that it's so fucking expensive. I know it's so fucking expensive because like I don't even want to pay Six Flags prices, and that's not really all that fucking expensive. I'm also quite thrifty, but
no, what you're saying is not. It's not.
But what I'm just saying, you know what? I'm talking about the Six Flags thing, but I just really want to get into the mind or understand the mind of a Disney fan. Like, what got you to love Disney in that way? Because, like I said, Disney Channel was a very prominent part of my childhood. Like, I remember watching fucking BB Mac music videos on Disney Channel. You know what I'm saying? I love that song. Back Here by BB Mac. I listen to that in the car quite often. And I wouldn't know who BB Mac is without Disney Channel. And not that I'm a BB Mac fan, I don't know what the hell they're doing right now. But, oh no, S Club 7 is not Disney. But it might be Disney because I think it was on fucking ABC Family. It might be. S Club 7 was just popped in my head. Freeform. They own Freeform too. So, which is an interesting triage because I was just thinking about Pretty Little Liars. Never watched the show. Don't want to watch it. Horrible acting. But in Pretty Little Liars, there is a relationship between a teacher and a student, and it's just fine. Which is very interesting because Freeform is a child of Disney, or a subset of Disney or connected to Disney or whatever. Neither here nor there. But, yeah, I just like to know why people are fans of Disney.
I would like to know how you deal with the fact that your company could be putting subliminal messaging in all the content. And
I don't think people know. I don't think people realize that.
Well, how is it okay? Like,
I don't think that comes across people's minds.
Know, like,
and I just threw that out there.
If how do you deal with the fact that, you know, your favorite,
the same way people are fans of R. Kelly
could be, but those are like, you know what? I don't know.
I mean, people just dismiss it, and the thing is, there's so many things that we like and we enjoy that we are knowing of there being problematic behavior. And no, R. Kelly is not to the same degree as Disney. R. Kelly does not have as much power as Disney does, by far. But I use it as an example of like people like, he made great music, and people like that. Those songs are about girls. Those songs are about girls. You Are Not Alone was a song about one of his little teenage girls that he got pregnant and she had a miscarriage.
Well, we want to use that to transition into the next topic, which is current content. Alright, so I'm going to use that to transition into our next topic, which is what we are currently watching. What are we indulging in right now at the moment?
Besides watching a lot of Sims and Knockout City on Twitch.
Oh yeah, a lot of Twitch, a lot of streamers watching little Simsy. Well, Ed watches a lot of those.
I watch a lot of those.
I tend to just watch what Ed watches because there's not too many Twitch streamers that I'm really watching. So
yeah, watching, I get in kicks where I want to watch Sims stuff. I like Lil Simsy a lot as a streamer. But she primarily plays like Animal Crossing and The Sims. That's also why I watch that black woman on YouTube, The Organized Gamer. Because she plays nothing but Animal Crossing. And sometimes I'm like, I just want to see Animal Crossing content. And I don't have enough energy or motivation to play it myself. And also my island is shit right now. So I want to watch pretty islands and all that kind of stuff. So I primarily look for people who are playing The Sims. Primarily black content creators. No, Lil Sims is not a black content creator. Or streamers, I meant. But I look for black women streamers who are playing The Sims or Animal Crossing. So that's usually what I end up watching from Twitch. I'll also watch people's VODs on Twitch. X Mirror Mirror, we were just watching her streams, playing Knockout City and Dead by Daylight drunk. She's funny as hell.
She's a great streamer.
I like her streams. I'm a big I don't want to say I'm a big Kiwi fan. Like, I just watch her streams, but I haven't been watching hers lately. But she's been doing a lot of just talking or just chatting, which is one of my least favorite categories on Twitch to watch, because it's like, I came here to watch you do something, like either do some makeup, do some art, or play a game or something, and that's just my own personal thing. But yeah, besides Twitch and YouTube,
we just started. Kazeb is a fan of the Vampire Diaries.
I'm a fan of vampires. Let's start there.
Well, she's a fan. Well, we aren't watching everything vampires right now, but she's a fan of vampires. So we started like looking into like the lore of Vampire Diaries. We started with this YouTube video by some YouTube creator. I don't remember her name, but she made a really great video that was about like 2 hours or so long. It was an overview of the entire
conglomerate of the Vampire
Diaries franchise, which saved me the Herculean burden of having to watch Vampire Diaries.
I think it's like 8 seasons.
Yeah, which
I watched it.
So from that, I learned that there's another show called The Originals, and Ed thought that maybe I would like The Originals. The Originals is a pretty. It's, to me, in my opinion, it's got to be one of the better CW shows. I don't know all the CW shows that they've made, but I'm familiar with like some of the most popular ones. I've met some of the cast from some of them, like The Flash and like fucking Legends of Tomorrow and shit like that. And to me, these shows look like really high-priced episodes of Power Rangers where I just can't watch them. Like how everyone relates to each other.
Which we did just watch the
Power Rangers
movie, yeah, the new one, not the 90s one.
I can't watch the dialogue because how these characters relate to each other is all like, it's just insane. I can't watch it. I just can't watch them. Supergirl, shit like that, all these different like DC properties that they turn into shows. Then you got The Originals, which is like, it was during the swing of like vampire influence after. Yeah,
so Twilight at the time. So in the 2-hour video, we'll probably link it in this description or not. I don't know. Doesn't matter. But she talked about the book series, The Vampire Diaries, the author, the characters, the plot lines, and things that were wrong with it, things that were right with it, whatever. And she, what did you just say? I completely lost my train of thought. What did you just say before I started talking?
Oh, I was talking about how there was the upswing of vampires.
Oh, she was saying that basically they started making teen vampire love stories a la Twilight.
Yeah. And so we all seen it. We've all made it to the end of that wave, which was like Twilight, fucking True Blood, which all this stuff, these things, their properties unto their own. Just so happened that they were all like kind of based around books that were all like fantasy, vampire, love shit. Okay. The Originals
even
is like
Wolf, which is not vampires, but there's werewolves and vampire stories,
and shit like that. Super fiction, supernatural. So, The Originals is like this on steroids. Like it was like someone was like, "What if we did this?" But like he was like an actual vampire. Like they watched, the fuck is the name of that goddamn Twilight? They watched Twilight and they were like, "What if all the vampires in Twilight acted like actual vampires?" And that's to me because there's just this crazy amount of use of force. Like I've never seen a show, and not even like an anime, where there's this obsession with the use of force. Every character, probably except for my favorite character,
Elijah.
Yeah.
In the suit.
Yeah, he's the person that uses the least amount of force. Everyone else, even the human characters, are obsessed with using force. Like, it'll be like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this thing, and if you try and stop me, I'll kill you." Or like, "I've got." You don't want to
make an enemy out of me.
I've got an idea, and if you don't do it, I'm gonna kill you. Or like,
I'm gonna kill your parents.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill your friend.
Insane.
You won't have any more fingers.
It's insane. I've never seen anything, and I'm so serious because I've watched a lot of anime. I watched a lot of ultra violent content throughout the years and shit like that. There is no amount of threats and use of force thrown around like it is in The Originals. I would not let a kid watch this show because they would probably start being a bully just from watching. Like if they watch like too many seasons of this, they're going to think it's normal to just use leverage.
Yeah. Especially they are making threats to people that they are legitimately family with and care about and love and will kill other people for. And they'll be like, I will rip your fucking head off if you don't let me do this thing that I want to do, dear brother that I love oh so much.
And I'm living with the theory that this show is low-key like American history, because these motherfuckers are like, these white people that came from someplace else. They've settled down in America. They're borderline immortal. They're pretty much immortal. And
I mean, they're immortal.
Effectively immortal, unless we find some kind of way to kill them.
I mean, there is a way to kill them.
Yeah.
But it's not easy.
Oh, okay. And then there's...
easily obtained.
Then they're this family. They basically use other people to, like, attack and hurt each other. Or, like, they hurt people that the other person likes to hurt them. Because you can't do anything to each other. It's just... Yeah. So it's like this storm of, like, immortals. They can't die. Everything around them can die. It's just it's crazy. I think it's worth a watch in a sense if you like super natural stories. If you're into maybe like romance, whatever, these kind of like teen,
young adult,
young adult fiction, supernatural stories. If you like that, you'll like the originals. If you like vampires, you'll probably like the originals because they are real depictions of vampires. They're not like what we were getting in the early 2000s where it was like these vampires who was like, oh, but they're nice. It's a vampire.
Yeah, and Twilight, I mean, they even glistened in the sun. They didn't burn. If they stepped in the sun, their skin would just glisten like marble. And and people would think that's strange. When they could easily be like, bitch, I cake myself in highlighter every day. Like, they could easily just say, I like to sparkle. And that would be it. Or nobody would say anything. But yeah, so like this diluted, romanticized version of vampires. Oh, Castlevania, I like that too. But this romanticized version of vampires was happening because they were like young adult teen romance shows and books and stuff. But another thing about the originals, if you've never watched the Vampire Diaries, you don't have to watch the originals. It's just a spin-off. That you don't really need to know. There are some characters that come around and they mention them, but you don't. It's not that serious. And if you want to know the backstory, just Google it. Go to Wikipedia. Or you could just watch the 2-hour video that we watched about the Vampire Diaries. Interestingly enough, the person who made that Vampire Diaries video does not like the originals. The originals, I also think the reason that it's a little bit that it's better than the Vampire Diaries in Ron's experience is because they're actual adults. These are grown-ass fucking people. Like when they were turned into vampires, I don't actually even know how old they're supposed to be. I mean, they're over 1,000 years old, that they've been in existence. But the age that they were turned into vampires had to be at least like maybe late 20s. I feel like they're 30-year-olds, but they like to cast 30-year-olds or 16-year-olds on TV now anyway, so I have no clue. But they're grown-ass people and they're adults. They're never in school. Or they're never supposed to be in school and then never go to school. You never have to wonder, like, where are your fucking parents? There's not a lot of questions that you have with the originals and how they navigate life. Like, they're the original vampires. They are the very first vampires that were ever made. They were made to be vampires that are ever in existence. And they just walk around. And it's set in New Orleans, which is very interesting. We were talking about The Princess and the Frog because it's also set in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. There isn't a lot of hoodoo or voodoo that's placed in that show, surprisingly. And the issue also is there are literally no black people in the show. Mm-hmm. There's like one black witch that we know now. Since I've already watched the originals, there's another black supporting character that comes around. Other than that, there's not many black people in the show, which is really nuts because it's set in the one of the main characters is also a black vampire. So there's 2 black witches and 1 black vampire. Everyone else is white or mixed with white or white looking, white passing. Yeah, and it's really strange because it's set in New Orleans and New Orleans is black as hell.
So this guy I follow just posted some stuff about Papa Legba, so it's...
Yeah, people were talking about that because there was this white guy who was talking about he does hoodoo, and he was talking about this it was on TikTok. He was trying to tell this Haitian girl who knows hoodoo, she may practice it, but it's Haitian culture, and she was like, you going to sit here and tell me that I'm pronouncing Papa Leba's name wrong. Like, she's like, you pronounce it this way. This is actually who he is, and this is all the stuff. And he was going back and forth. So that's possibly where it came from. But yeah, other than the fact that there's like literally, New Orleans seems to be devoid of black people in this television show. Like, even when they were having like, now I am not knowledgeable of New Orleans culture, but like, you know, they're having, and forgive me if it's not called a parade or a processional where, you know, they're playing music, they got their umbrellas and all kind of shit. It's a hella white people, hella light-skinned pale people, if even there are any people of color. So that's the one strange thing about it. And if there are other black people, they're just background characters. They might have one or two lines. You know, they're probably, oh, hey, you dropped this book or something like that. But the originals, they're grown-ass people. They're adults. So there's so much more that can happen. It's not like you're sitting in class and he's not like shaking because he's bloodthirsty in class, but he has a math test to take. Like, there's none of that shit that's happening. It's just like, we don't gotta work.
It's just these fucking vampires.
And they're just running around
trying to take control of New Orleans. That's what the show is about.
Right now,
these
that's what it's about, yeah.
With life, generational ties, and they're just running around New Orleans trying to take control of New Orleans. And magic, and there's somehow humans are like vying for control in all of this. And
yeah, from what, when the original family was in New Orleans at the time, they created that council that exists now where it's like there's the witches and the werewolves, vampires, which it doesn't look like that now in the show, but where we are in the show. And the humans also, because it's like, you know, if people end up dead, you know, we have to protect the they have a deal. They just have a deal where it's like, we won't feed on the locals and y'all won't rat us out and out us. Although I feel like if humans did find out that they were vampires, they would get the best of the humans. Like, which is probably why the humans are kind of, I don't know.
And all right, so we've got the originals. I recommend that, and I don't know, you can expect some content about that, maybe. We're actively watching Food Wars, even though we missed yesterday's episode, which
Food Wars is nuts.
It's a great gem of an anime.
It is.
It gives you a lot. It's fun. It gives you a lot of the anime tropes, but it gives you it in a different way through the medium of food. So that's fun. Like, it's still really intense. It's still got a lot of the same anime tropes.
Yeah, it's really funny because we watch a good amount of Gordon Ramsay shows, and we're watching like Hell's Kitchen stuff, which I think we probably said in the last episode. And from watching Hell's Kitchen, which is also quite dramatic, but in a very different way, and then watching Food Wars and just how diehard serious these people are, it's just like the juxtaposition of the way that food and competition exist together. They're very different. And Food Wars is also, again, about kids, but I like Food Wars. I started watching it. I think it's on Netflix. I think the first 2 seasons are on Netflix, and I started watching that. And then Ron was like, "Oh, you watching Food Wars? Yeah, it's a cool show." So now we just watch it together as it's on Adult Swim right now. Adult Swim, Toonami. Excuse me, Toonami on Saturday evenings. But yeah, Food Wars.
And we recently just watched The Way of the Husband, which I appreciate a lot for the art style and the way it's animated, because it really calls on its manga influence, or was manga roots. I'm pretty sure it's a manga. I think I had a friend of mine confirm that it was. It just gives you that in the animation, like you're just getting like, this is a motion manga, like, because every animation is almost like a still. Yeah, pretty much.
It's like a paper stick. Yeah, it's like Angela Anaconda.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but it's a great story. It's funny. Definitely going into adulthood, I'm enjoying way more comedy anime. I cannot say that was the case maybe like 10 years ago. I probably would not have watched any comedy anime just because it's like, this is not what I'm looking for. I don't need any laughs. Give me the hype right now. Give me the death battles. But now I'm totally with it. And The Way of the House Husband, great story, funny. It's on Netflix. Netflix, who's stepping up the anime.
And I think that's probably the route that they're going to go. Anime and foreign films.
Yeah, I think it is. That's funny you said that. I definitely do think that they're going to expand in that category. They see...
Because they keep canceling their other good shows, so something's got to be good, I guess.
And I think Netflix has had... they realize the success that they've had with animations. So like they had success with She-Ra, they had success with Voltron, they had success. I didn't watch any of it, the Godzilla thing. They had success with the Transformers stories that they had. I haven't watched either of those two.
Me either. But we did watch She-Ra and
But they were a success. Maya's mentioned Last Kids on Earth. I've seen.
We watched Castlevania.
Last Kids on Earth. Yeah. Castlevania. We mentioned that earlier. Great. A friend of mine just brought to my attention that Netflix is going to be adding the Gundam properties to their collection within the next couple of weeks. That's pretty big, seeing it's one of the biggest anime franchises. And I anticipate that they'll probably be making stuff like specifically Gundam American stuff on Netflix.
No, where Netflix is fucking up with anime is when they do the live action films. Yeah. That they can do away with.
I didn't see the Bleach movie. We never watched it.
There's a Bleach one?
Bleach. Yes, there is. There's a Bleach one. There's a Full Metal Alchemist one, even though we haven't watched Full Metal. We did watch Bleach, but we didn't finish it.
No, we didn't finish Bleach.
And we never watched Full Metal Alchemist, even though I think you would enjoy Full Metal Alchemist.
It's on my list.
But I never watched the live action incarnation of it. And I don't know if I will. I probably would for the sake of content or for the sake of sharing it with Ed. But I don't know. I've got a lot of other stuff that I actually want to watch and things that I plan on making content for. Like all our Disney Channel original movies, which we'll be sharing with you soon.
I'm so excited for you to experience this because I know you're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
No, I know. I'm sure. I just can't. I'm looking forward to Can of Worms the most.
I know you are. Do you want to watch that first or save that for last? You know what? We can watch it first.
Yeah, we can watch that first. Let's just start with the strange stuff. The more strange
we'll start, and then we'll get.
So we can do like Can of Worms, Stepsister Playing Weird, whatever else that is.
There's the Genius movie where the boy. I think there's one where where he clones himself.
Wow. And
then there's another. I think he's a clone. And then there's another one. There's a good amount of sci-fi ones. The Smart House is a sci-fi one.
I do. I'm familiar with
Can of Worms is sci-fi. Stepsister from Planet Weird is sci-fi. The Other Me, Luck of the Irish is kind of sci-fi. He turns into a leprechaun. The 13th Year, he becomes a mermaid on his 13th birthday. What is the other one? Genius. Oh, he makes himself cool. It's an Urkel thing. Urkel Stefan thing. And then there's a movie, I forgot what it's called, but he creates an AI pop star.
Wow. So we're way ahead of the curve because we have AI pop stars.
Yeah, we do. Strange.
Vocaloids.
Yeah. Not even that. We got AI influencers.
Yeah. It started with the vocal and now we have AI influencers.
Yeah. And they really be like, use my promo code for money off of Pretty Little Thing. What I just named like several movies. Do you want to do like a sci-fi leg? We could just do that. I mean, actually, we can read the synopsis so you can make a decision. I am clearly very excited about this. Mm-hmm. Well, but I think that we can watch the AI one if you'd like.
Oh yeah, add it to the list. Just stranger the better.
We will. Maybe I'm pretty sure. Okay, what we're gonna do?
Our strange list with like the Xenon ones.
We are not watching Xenon. You've seen it.
There's like 2 others.
What, Xenon 2 and 3? You don't have to watch those. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. They gotta save the world from some aliens.
You feel very strongly about this
because I don't want to waste a movie on something that is better than what you're gonna watch. I want you to experience like the decoms that you don't know. You know Xenon exists. You know they're out in outer space. And there's this platinum-haired pop star, protozoa, who's real cool with a teenager in high school. And they just get older and they wear like futureified clothes. It's just the Fifth Element for high school. Which is also, I mean, I fucking love the Fifth Element. Xenon's a really good movie. I don't think we need to venture there. We can watch those leisurely. For this project, we're watching the epitome of a Disney Channel original movie.
The epitome of a Disney Channel original movie.
That's the series. So what we could do for research is probably watch. I'm pretty sure there's some YouTube videos that people are like, here's my ranking of Disney Channel original movies, and they give their synopsis and whatever, and then you can make your decision from there. But we know Can of Worms and Stepsister Planet Weird are definitely on the list.
I think we already made our list. We have a list. We don't need that incorporate.
We don't have a list. What's the list?
We just said where we started. We'll figure out the rest.
I went off on a tangent of the science fiction films.
We'll figure it out on the way there.
Oh my god.
I'm not incorporating anybody else's list. I don't know.
What?
I don't have to watch anything extra about Disney Channel original movies when I'm already going to be watching.
But I won't watch that with
Disney
you.
Channel original movies. We are going to be watching Disney Channel.
No. The YouTube video. You said you've seen Don't Look Under the Bed, so we don't have to watch that. Another sci-fi, I guess. Phantom of the Megaplex, we could watch that one. It's kind of horror. Under Wraps, we can watch that one. That's kind of horror.
Is that the one, The Mummy?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually not that cool. It's not that. Actually, won't watch that. I think, what else? What else about what we're watching before we wrap up? I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Of course, always watching a lot of the Great British Baking Show. But that's sort of just like my nap show at this point. I literally will be falling asleep and I hear Ron tell our Google Home like to put it on the TV. Every single time. And I really appreciate that. That's very sweet. Thank you. I think we can close it out.
Yeah.
We'll have other things to talk about what we've been watching next episode.
Of course.
So that wraps up
another episode of Coup.
Yeah, our second episode of A Couple of Opinions or A Coup. I'm Ebony.
I'm Ron.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening. Again, my social Instagram is at Fireworld, at PHIWRLD. You can reach me there and give us some feedback on the episode. And yeah, that's it. Until next time.
My social media accounts are The Busy Bee, spelled TheBizibi, on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I have a Facebook page that I don't really use. But sure, go like it. Give me a like on there. I also have a rant dump page about things called Raging Black Girl, spelled all one word, RAGINGBLACKGIRL. It was also a podcast that was also recorded on Anchor. It's no longer in production, but the episodes are still up if you'd like to, see what the hell I said there. But that's all we have for you for this episode. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.